All right, day 2. Things are always working out for me. Let's read the passage for today. We are on page 35 of the print version. God, the universe, is always guiding us towards the things we want, but sometimes the path that leads to those things is bumpy. Nevertheless, it is always the path of least resistance or the easiest path, which means that all the other paths are harder. Sometimes we are like, oh, this is so hard, but it's the easiest path. So not the easiest overall path, because remember, this is the emotional scale, right? So there are easier paths up here, but if you're down here, you can't be on this path. So universe will take you on the easiest path at this emotional level, because here there are countless options. Possibilities are endless at every level of the emotional scale. Every level of the emotional scale branches into millions of possibilities that can happen. So the universe, when we say path of least resistance, does not mean that the universe is going to pluck you from here and drop you here. That's your work. The universe is not going to do that work for you. Okay? But what the universe will do for you, it will sort and sift all the paths at this emotional level and take you through the best possible one, avoiding as many obstacles as possible. Because remember, it doesn't matter where you are on the emotional scale, you are always on your way to the things that you want. Make sense? So it's the path of least resistance from where I am on the emotional scale. Does not mean path of least resistance from here. Okay? You gotta do the work to come here, but the universe will do the work from here to take you through the easiest path possible. All right, so let's move on. You see our path, whoops, just dropped a couple of things, that's okay. You see, our path through life's journey is paved with the beliefs that we have acquired along the way. And it is these beliefs that make our journey bumpy. We create all the obstacles that lie on our path by thinking thoughts that are contrary to what we want, by thinking thoughts that are contrary to what we believe God is capable of. So, as I understand it, there are more negative beliefs here. Then as you go up the emotional scale, the amount of negative beliefs on your path goes down. Why? Because, well, from here you believe all things are possible. So if you believe all things are possible, that means the path is clear. It's only when you're down somewhere here that you feel that the things that you want are not possible. And so our path is paved with our beliefs. Whatever we believe, that is what we are putting out there. And then what happens is you have to overcome those beliefs or find a way around them. But they will not go away unless you do something about it. When we find a path around the belief, that means we stop looking at the belief. We gaze somewhere else. And when we do that, that obstacle goes away because, as we learned in the Science of Spirituality presentation, it's the observer effect. If you observe it, it exists, and you increase the probability of it. All right, think about it. On one hand, we believe that God is capable of performing miracles without any effort. And on the other hand, we worry whether the same God will help us to get to work on time or recover from an illness or find work or find love. And the list goes on. If we really believed in God's power, then we would not worry about these things. We would trust that God is always there for us, guiding us, helping us, providing for us. When we have conflicting beliefs, we get pulled in two different directions, and it feels as if nothing in our lives is changing, right? Because on the one hand, you believe one thing, and on the other, you believe another thing. So Procrastination is this splitting of energy. When we procrastinate, that means we have two beliefs that are contrary to each other. I must do this thing that is good for me, is pulling you in one direction, but I don't like this thing that is good for me, is pulling you in the other direction. So there's a split of energy. Anytime there's a split of energy, it seems as if your life isn't going anywhere. All right, so the analogy that I like best goes like this. Imagine that you discover that there is a great treasure buried on the other side of a dense and dangerous jungle. I love this analogy. You are told that if you can make it across this jungle without a map, then the treasure on the other side can be yours. You really want this treasure, but you're afraid of making this journey alone, not knowing which path to take, not knowing what lies lurking in the shadows, not knowing and not being prepared for any of the dangers that you may come across along the way. You have been told that many have tried to get this treasure before, only to be hopelessly lost in the jungle forever. You have a brilliant idea. You call a friend and ask them to help you. You rent a helicopter and a set of walkie-talkies so that your friend can guide you through the jungle from the helicopter so that you can avoid the dangers that others encountered and perished. You start your journey and your friend guides you away from all the monsters, telling you to hide when you need to and run when you need to. Your friend finds the easiest path for you to travel. At times, the best path is rough going. There are fallen trees and uneven terrain, and sometimes it seems as if there is no path. At times you feel like giving up because you are tired and the obstacle on your path seems insurmountable. But your friend cheers you on. You trust that if there was a better way, your friend would lead you to it, and you trust that with time you will reach your goal. You have to crawl at times you have to jump, but you do make it to the other side. Bruised, scraped and all, you do get your treasure. If we could just imagine that that friend in the helicopter was God, the universe, guiding us through all the obstacles and finding us the best possible path, then we would know that even though we seem to be going over a rough patch, that rough patch is actually taking us towards the things we want, and that the path we are traveling is actually the best possible path. Trust and faith are the most important ingredients of a happy life. Trust that no matter where you are and what lies before you, things are always working out for you, because they are. I love this story, and it's actually a dream. So I put it in here, but that passage that I just read to you, and it always takes me back there, was a beautiful dream. It was a lovely, lovely dream. So, but really think about it. That is what trust is. If you trust, then you have to trust that whatever is happening is the best possible option, and that all other options are actually way worse than this one.